better late than never, I suppose. But this is my Japan haul. I'm gonna go over everything in here that I brought back to varying degree of details. It's just a general mix. This is mostly just my otaku stuff, which I would say is the majority of what I bought. There's a couple of other things, but that's not really too important, at least for the purposes of this channel and what people are most likely interested in. I'm gonna just kind of give a little overview of everything here. First up, since it was the first thing that probably caught people's eye, this is Yabuki Kentaro art book for To Love Ru. Now this is Venus. I got this one because I also had Harem Gold. If I overpaid for anything in Japan, it was this book. Uh, it was about 3,000 yen, which is kind of expensive, especially for a secondhand book. The To Love Ru art books are of really high quality, and they're hardcover and all that stuff, but it's probably not worth the price, especially like I said, for secondhand. But since I already had Harem Gold and I also overpaid for Harem Gold stateside, like $70 or $80, I figured I might as well get Venus to complete the set. So right now I have them both. Well, once I put this one back on my shelf, I'm gonna have them both lined up, and I'm gonna have like a To Love Ru shrine thing going. So I got this one. This one's great, excellent to flip through. Love the art. Starting from the back, I got Genshiken volumes 1 through 7, which are the original sort of series, the first generation, I suppose you can say, up until where the main generation graduates, like Madarame and whatnot. Because then after that, it becomes Nidaime, I believe, or maybe it's 7. Let me flip through. I think at this point it's like Nidaime already. Yeah, I think they have already graduated. No, I know this is the graduation chapter or graduation volume, volume 6. But I ended up picking all these up from mostly from Mandarake. I got a couple from Book Off, but they didn't have everything. But most of them were really cheap, like 200 yen, so it was easy to justify getting them all there. And Mandarake in Nakano Broadway had pretty much the entire set. I only got 2 from Book Off, and those were the ones 6 and 7, I believe, that don't have the packaging. All Mandarake ones have this little plastic cover over it. So I got those as well. I also picked up Kami no Mizo Shiru Sekai Volume 1 and 3. They didn't have much of Kami no Mi over there, at least when I was looking. I was lucky enough to find Volume 1 in Mandarake. I think Volume 3 was in... Which store was this? I don't remember which store this is right here. I don't think it even says on the thing. This might have been Book Off as well, because it doesn't have the packaging. Oh, I also have Volume 2. This was 100 yen as well. This is dirt cheap. I just had them in opposite order. So I got volumes 1, 2, and 3 in Japanese. I also have the Kami no Mi Kami no Mizo Shiru Sekai on the train, which I think is like a spin-off. I haven't read this one, even in English, so I'm going to take a look at this one as well. And then I also picked up volume 10 and 22. I think this is volume 22. Yeah, these are the special edition ones that come with the DVD. I got them because I saw it and I was like, this is cool. But then I flipped it over and I saw it for 200 yen. I guess Kami no Mi isn't that popular over there, at least not anymore. Because considering that you can get the limited edition ones for 200 yen, which is exceedingly cheap. Like I said, it comes with the DVD OVAs as well, which was cool for me. I wanted to pick up some of these, but hadn't done so already. So I went for those. I feel like I got another one, but I don't know where I put it. Got a couple DVDs here as well. I went pretty crazy in Mandarake, if you can't tell. This one is With You, which is an old school Bishoujo game adaptation. Uh, With You, Mitsumetai, Volume 1. They only had Volume 1. I picked this one up because I saw With You, and I was like, this. I feel like I've seen this one already. If not, I probably will watch at some point. Uh, and I wanted to pick up some obscure stuff as well, stuff you wouldn't really uh, be able to get over here, or like you really even see listed online. It has like a little flip book in here as well, um, like character bios, and then like these little collectible cards. I think there's nothing special about them. It's just collectible cards for various characters in the show. And I think there's only like one episode on this disc. It was like a 2-episode OVA. This one is Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, Blu-ray. Picked this one up in Mandarake as well. Like I said, I went pretty crazy over there. Only 540 yen. But this is the special edition of the Blu-ray. I don't have this in English. I have the original. I have Haruhi in the. Actually, I'll show you right now. Got it over here. I have the Bandai DVD box set. Let me put the zoom back. Shit. I have the Bandai DVD box set as well as the new Funimation DVD, but I don't have the Disappearance movie yet, so I got that one. Lucky Star, I got volume 6 of the DVD here, mainly because it has the what's his name, Anime Tenshou. Here, I think this was at least based on the cover art. I'm assuming this is the Comica episode, and I figured if I would get any volume of the Lucky Star DVD, it would either be the first volume or the one with the coolest art, and this one had the coolest art, at least for collecting purposes. And they didn't even have the first volume, so my choice was pretty obvious. So I think it seems like there's a CD-ROM special thing in here, or like a little CD. I don't. Yeah, this is first press, I think. There's that. Back over here. Gonna finish up with the manga before I move on to the other stuff. I picked this one up randomly. It looked really interesting. I don't think I could show the back too much because it's a little sketchy. But it's called R18. Adu Johachi. I have no idea what that means. But it was in the manga time Kirara section. It's by Purapa. I'm not sure. I haven't heard about this one, but it looked kind of interesting. And based on the cover art, it looked like it was about, yeah, even on the back it says about 18 plus Bishoujo game Kaisha. So I'm assuming it's about Bishoujo game development or eroge development, I should say. I picked this one up randomly because it seemed pretty interesting. And then I got Lucky Star Volume 1 through 3. There was a Mandarake that's... So in Mandarake at Nakano Broadway, there is... I think it's technically the 3rd floor, but it's like the 2nd main level. It's kind of a weird designed building. But like if you go up the escalators, you technically go to the 3rd floor. And that's where like the main Mandarake section is, where they have the huge manga area. Across the hall from the huge one, it's where they have the based otaku stuff, is where I found a lot of the manga time Kirarara stuff, as well as some of the Bishoujo magazines that I'm going to show in a bit. But that's where they had the Lucky Star. They had pretty much the entire manga there. And since I had already bought the whole Genshiken manga and a bunch of other stuff, I was like, I'm only going to get 3. But I wanted to pick up the Lucky Star manga because I haven't read it before. And it was fairly cheap in Japanese. Well, fairly. It's like 300 yen, which is actually considerably more expensive than most of the other manga I picked up. But I still wanted to get a couple of these volumes. Like I said, I haven't read them before. And then I also picked up some more Boogie Pop, because last year I pretty much bought the entire stock of Boogie Pop light novels at Mandarake. And this year I went back to fill in the gaps of various novels I haven't read yet. Or not read, but I didn't buy the first time. So this one is Boogie Pop. I think this is technically the third volume of the light novel series. Boogie Pop versus Imaginator, part 2. Because last year I only got part 1, so this was one that I was missing in Japanese. As well as, what is this one? Boogie Pop Countdown. No, this is Boogie Pop Countdown Embryo Erosion. I'm not sure specifically which volume of the series it is, but I want to say it's like 8, but I might be wrong. 300 yen for that one, 300 yen for that one. Not cheap, but not expensive either, compared to importing everything. Then I picked up To Love Ru, a couple volumes of this one. I'm pretty sure I picked up this one right here. I think this is like a reprint, but because they didn't have the original, for the most part, I should say. I don't know if this one has any additional volumes in it, but I think this one has a special art, like a little color page or something in here. Otherwise, it's just To Love Ru Volume 1, Volume 2, and then To Love Ru Darkness Volume 1 in Japanese, because I think it has stickers in it, and the stickers are still here, and I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. I have a handful of volumes of Darkness in English. So that's that right here. Here's some video. I picked up mostly DS games and only DS games. So first I picked up New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, because I don't have this one yet, and I wanted to play it because I haven't played it yet, and I don't want to buy it in English. Even though I do have my R4 card set up, I figured that for 900 yen it's not too bad. So I figured I'd get this one. Idolmaster Dearly Stars. This is the first game in the second Vision era for Idolmaster. I had talked about this one previously when I did my lecture, and I saw this one in Trader, and I was like, I gotta get this one now. So I picked it up. It's complete in box. All the manual and stuff is in there, so good pickup here. And then also at Trader, from the bargain bin, I picked up this. This is Lucky Star Drill, it says here. Let's I'm pretty sure this is like a learning game, like an educational game with Lucky Star elements in it. I'm not 100% sure. It just looked kind of mysterious and weird. So I was like, I might as well pick this up because I don't have the price tag on it anymore, I think. But since it was in the Trader bargain bin, and actually Trader had a lot of good games in the bargain bin. A lot of like Western games, so like Call of Duty and stuff, but also like various Japanese games, a lot of PSP games, and really good PSP games at that. But they just had a lot of stuff that was like super popular that they probably had like too many copies of. So they started to dump a few in there, and then I picked up this one here. I saw a handful of copies of stuff like Idolmaster 2, Dragon's Dogma, a couple Assassin's Creed games. There was a ton of Neptunia games and stuff in there. But it's a lot of games, I'm assuming, that have had re-releases, remakes, or like remasters, and are no longer as like popular as the go-to version of the game. Like a lot of the Neptunia games have been, or had like a treatment of like a rebirth or something like that, or whatever they call it. So they're no longer like the vanilla games are no longer like the ones people are looking for. So a lot of those were discounted. Saw this one buried in there, and I was like, I'll pick it up. Kanzaki Ranko pin. I got this one from the official Idolmaster store. Alongside a couple other items, I got a Takagaki Kaede mini wall scroll that I put on my desk, or next to my desk, I should say. And then Sakura Mori Kaori acrylic stand. And then they were also doing a little Kuji thing. because it was after the New Year's, I'm assuming. And I paid for that, and then I did the little Kuji wheel thing, got the Kanzaki Ranko pin. Kind of expensive at the official Idolmaster store, not gonna lie, but it's whatever. This is the best thing I picked up in Japan, by far. Probably the best thing I've bought in a long time. This is Akashi Kachiyama, their new. It's technically an album, but it has a lot of re-recorded songs on it, or like remakes, I should say. So I picked this one up at C103, Comic-Cat 103, alongside the Omake disc, because they still had some. This was the first booth I stopped by. For those who don't know, I don't know if I've talked about it much, but when I first got into Dojin music, my favorite band was Shinigiwa Satellite. And like I do like other bands like Foreground Eclipse that has some similar carryover members like Murami Pop does the vocals for that, and Shinigiwa and Kachiyama. But Shinigiwa Satellite disbanded, and from what I understand, a couple of the members carried on to continue Kachiyama, and they're my favorite currently active Dojin music group. And they were putting out a new album at Comic-Con, so they were the first booth I stopped by. And when I went there, like I was like super like fanboying, and I was like, I gotta pick up the new CD. And since I was probably one of the first customers, I did get the Omaka disc. I haven't listened to it, so I don't know what's on it. It's just a blank CD, but I'll have to find out what's in there. But I picked this one up, and then I was like, I'm a huge fan of your stuff. I've been a fan since the Shinigiwa Satellite days. And the lady who was running the booth, it wasn't Murami Pop. It was a lady dressed as Koishi. And she explained that later in the afternoon, a couple of the band members were going to be at the booth. So if I wanted to, I could come back and get a signature from them. And I was like, sure, I will definitely be back. And then around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I come back. I believe like the guitarist was there. I feel bad because like a lot of with the Dojin groups, I don't really know who's in the band. Like I'm pretty sure this is like a one-man band, but I'm fairly certain it was the guitarist. I tell him like, dude, I've been a fan since Shinigawa Satellite. I came all the way from the United States to Comic-Con, and like you guys are making my favorite Toho arrangements. And I ask him for a signature, signs it right here. I'm pretty sure it says Oyama, and it says thanks right here. So I picked this one up. I ripped the CD, and I've been listening to it. I'm enjoying it. I'm so glad they're putting out music. And, I'm going to talk about this more when I do a specific Comic-Con video, doing like a retrospective of the experience going to Comic-Con. But, like, in my head, Kachiyama is pretty big. At least because they have Murami Pop who does vocals. They used to do Shinigawa Satellite, now they do this other band, and they do Toho arrangement. And I assumed that they'd be fairly popular, but like when I was looking for their booth, I walked past it like twice because I didn't see it. And then when I finally get to it, it's like this small little booth. And I'm like, man, like in my head, they're this big group, and like actually going to Comic-Con, it's like a tiny little table. And the same goes for other groups like East New Sound. They had like a little, well, I mean, they had a table against the wall and everything, but like they didn't have like a huge setup. It's just like it's weird to go to see these people in the circles and stuff in person and like be humbled a little bit. Because that was a similar experience. Excuse aside, but like I went to go pick up the new Sugar BT Dojin when I was at Comic-Con. And in my head, Sugar BT, they do like some of the best like pre-cure Dojins. But when I went there, they weren't against the wall or anything. They were like in the middle, and like there wasn't a line or anything, and they were just like a regular group that was blending in with everybody else. So it's interesting to see in person, like what's popular online versus what's actually popular in Japan. A couple other CDs. This is Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. I think this one is Cool Jewelries Volume 3. Nothing too special there. I just saw it on sale. Figured pick up some Idolmaster junk. More Idolmaster junk. This one is... Which one is this? I picked this one up because it says Otaku is Love on the side here. But it's technically Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Starlight Master for the next number 9. Otaku is Love. With a title like that, I could not pass it up. I picked up some Hardcore Syndrome stuff here. Hardcore Tennessee. This one is Hardcore Syndrome 3, which I listened to a lot prior. Some solid tracks on here. This Hardcore Syndrome's underrated. Hardcore Syndrome 4, which is probably my favorite. All these were kind of expensive. Like 1,200 yen is a bit overpriced if you ask me. 700 is a little bit more reasonable, but this is like American prices, to be honest, so I definitely overpaid. But I needed to pick up some of these, especially Syndrome 4 is my favorite. Like, there are no skips on here. And then I also picked up this one, Speedball Z, another hardcore Tennessee production here. This one's good. This one has the obi as well. I think these have the obi. Most CDs in Japan do. But this one is clearly visible here. Next, I mistakenly bought Short Circuit 2 again. I have the special edition version I bought a while back, stateside in the United States at a convention. And then I could have sworn when I was buying this, I was like, I don't know if I have it, but I can't not buy this since I love Short Circuit so much. I've already opened it, that's why it's torn right there. DVD track. I don't know if I have it. Well, I have 2 different versions of Short Circuit now, so whatever. And then Elisa, a White Pulsation, which is one of my favorite J-pop albums of all time. This is just like non-stop bangers, dude. And of course the big sticker block stuff off here, but it has like I think Euphoric Field is on here, Hikari's on here, Ebullient Future. It's just like non-stop hits, not just like EF A Tale of Memories and EF A Tale of Melodies songs, but like the non-anime songs that Elisa does are really good too. So I picked this one up because it's, like I said, one of my favorite J-pop albums. Moving on over here, got some magazines because I can't not help myself. I have an addiction to buy the anime and Bishoujo game magazines. So the first volume I have on here is Dengeki Moeo, which I believe is... I don't 100% know if it's like actually comics and stuff in here, or like manga, I should say. But I want to say that this has like Bishoujo game coverage in here, but I might be wrong. I haven't flipped through one of these in a long time, and I wanted to get a Dengeki Moeo. I'm assuming that it does have like manga and stuff in here, because what's the other one? Dengeki. I have another one of these Dengeki published ones, and I know it has other stuff in there like manga and stuff, but it's for the most part coverage about Bishoujo games. I picked up a Megami magazine because I can't help myself. At this point, I have like 30 volumes of Megami magazine. No exaggeration. More posters and stuff in here. And this one is a Dengeki Hime, which I haven't looked through before. And this right here makes me a little curious that it says 18 plus. And this one has some White Album coverage on here. I haven't flipped through this one. I'm curious to know what's in here. This was 200 yen, by the way. That's why, like, it's so easy to stack these, but the problem is the magazines end up weighing a lot. Like they're like you don't think about it, but they're deceptively heavy. Especially when you say, "Oh, it's only 200 yen," and then you throw a handful into your backpack, and suddenly it's like super heavy. Another Megami magazine. This one had this is Muv-Luv technically. Um, on the cover, this one's 400. This was a little bit more. This was from December 2004. This other magazine, this was Megami. No, this is just a regular. I thought it was deluxe. This one is from March 2006. This one right here is probably similar era, February 2010. And then another Megami right here. It has Ayori Aoshi on the front. This is from December 2003. It's cool picking up some of the older ones. I'm always curious about it. And then just like feeling under it, you can tell that there's a poster still in here. And then, of course, another Megami magazine. This one had DG Shade. This one is a much older one. It's from December 2001 up here. So this one is a little bit vintage. I don't think it has anything in it because I can't feel the posters. It might still have the foldouts, but that's about it. And then below here, I can't show the back, but this is from Orange Maru. I bought the set that they were putting out at C103 this year, and they gave the bag. And it was hilarious. I can't show you the back of the bag because it's a little sketchy. But it has Fuyuko in a compromising position, so, let's say. Well, not really compromising, but it's kind of lewd. And it was pretty hype, like taking the train back from Tokyo Big Sight back into central Tokyo. And I went back into Shibuya, and that's where I ended up eating. Actually, I ended up going back into Shinjuku and eating over there because Shibuya is way too busy, especially on the 31st. But it was pretty hype coming back on the train because as you take the train back from Big Sight and then you transfer off the, I think it was the Rinkai line, and then you go back, you transfer, and then you take the Yamanote line or something. You start to have less otaku on the train and more ryaju. And then just carrying this bag on the train, dude, and then just like people looking at it and immediately knowing where you came from, and it's like, oh, it's one of these otaku guys. Of course, this gaijin went there, but it was pretty hype being on the train with the anime goods. But there's that. I've been mentioning Comiket. That was the big thing that I did this year. I can't really show you too much about what I actually bought over there since I almost exclusively bought doujinshi, with the exception of the Kachikachiyama CD. But I will do a sort of audio podcast retrospective thing about what Comiket was like as a first time goer and someone who kind of knows like what Comiket is, as opposed to like some of the other people, because there was people there that were gaijin. Some of the gaijin clearly knew what they were doing, and some of them were like tourists that had no right to be there. But for the most part, it was overwhelmingly amount of native Japanese people there. But like I said, I will do an audio form of that. I might show pictures of stuff I can. I didn't take too much pictures, and I didn't take any video really, which I sort of regret not doing, but I'll do my best to give an overview of like what it was based on my experience, and then I ended up taking notes later that day. And then of course I'll talk about the books I got. But I mean, listening to this, I got the new Orange Maru book. I got a couple of other ones from circles like Sugar BT that I'm into. Sugar BT is not the circle, but the artist. But I will say though, the best thing about Comiket is taking the train back to your apartment or wherever you're staying, and then just like sitting in bed and reading doujinshi and like fapping to stuff that no one else in the world really has, and you're like the only person. So it's like, yep, I'm the first one reading this new book right now, man. No one else got it. These people overseas, there's nothing on Sad Panda right now. There's nothing on N Hentai right now. It's just this is just for the real ones out here. But this is the general overview of stuff I got. Mostly safe for work, otaku stuff for the most part. Thanks for watching. I completely forgot to mention this in the original recording of the video, but a couple weeks literally after the fact, I remembered as I was editing the original, and I was like, wait, I forgot to talk about the Kaspa shirts I picked up. So I picked up 3 Kaspa shirts, and guess I'm gonna tell you a little bit about them. So I purchased the Tokisaki Kurumi and the Jogasaki Mika Kaspa shirts at G Store in Akihabara, which is fairly near the station. It is one of the few places that you can actually buy Nichigen Kaspa stuff at. Uh, in Akihabara, as far as I was aware, like I went to a couple of places, and this is probably like one of the only areas selling like Nichigen Kaspa apparel. And it makes sense; it's the official place to buy it. But regardless, I had some good stuff there. And it isn't. They do have a lot of recent releases there, as well as a couple releases that were from the previous year or whatever. Like they still stock some older stuff, but it has to be something that they've released at some point recently. Case in point, the Tokisaki Kurumi shirt I picked up. This one is a full one of the full print t-shirts. This one is a really nice quality. This one unfortunately is a medium because they only had a medium. I can usually fit into a medium and it's kind of snug on me because Japanese sizes are a little bit weird. They're not as ridiculously small as maybe they used to be or people assume they are. I would say this sort of fits like a small, and but I usually pick up a large because larges usually fit me a little bit boxy, slightly oversized, but about the same as like a medium in the United States. The Jogasaki Mika shirt is by far the best pickup I got in terms of anime apparel. I hated myself for not pre-ordering this shirt when it was available, and lo and behold, it was there at G Store. I saw a large and immediately picked it up and bought it because this was something that I've been meaning to get. Like I love collecting Idolmaster apparel as well as like a lot of the collectibles, but I'm a fan of Nijigen cosplay in general, just like otaku shirts and stuff. I've always thought was super cool. So whenever I see a release that has a character I'm particularly fond of or from a series I like, I automatically go and try to make space and buy it. But for some reason, this Jogasaki Mika one, it just got away from me. Maybe at the last minute, I decided to use the money somewhere else, but luckily I was able to snag that one. I picked up the origami uh, shirt at the Kaspa, yeah, this is the G/Kaspa booth at Comiket in the like industry area. I wasn't initially gonna buy anything because their selection wasn't amazing. I ended up lining up anyways, and then throughout the line, I kind of looked at the selection. I was like, you know what, I'll just get the origami shirt because for some reason, for some inexplicable reason, over the course of the trip, I had the inexplicable urge to rewatch Data Live, which I immediately did upon arriving back in the United States. Rewatched Data Live. It was just one of those shows that was like, I watched like pretty early on into the time when I was like trying, like first like discovering true otaku media and starting to get into like battle harems and light novels and stuff like that. It was pretty influential on me, so that's why I ended up getting 2 Data Live t-shirts here. Definitely the full graphic shirt is the best of all these. These usually run a little bit more expensive, about like 6k yen, whereas these are about 4k. And I would say full graphics are the way to go. Unfortunately, though, like whenever I look at the selection, especially in Ami and whatnot, the full graphic shirts, they're never of series I like, or characters I like, or it's just stuff that I already have merch for and I'm not particularly fond of. Like they do Ava full print shirts all the time, and I'm like, okay, Ava. I mean, I kind of have one of those already. It's like an off-brand Ichiken Kaspa, but Um, they also do like a ton of Love Live stuff, and I don't give a crap about Love Live. I want the Idol Master, and finally they did some Idol Master stuff, but I need some more full prints, bro. But anyways, yeah, that's my Nijigen Kaspa shirts I picked up.